So definitely a cool effect, and makes it sound like the drummer kind of woke up. Um, and while we're crushing all the transients and almost ruining the drums with the parallel compression, the natural is still blended in there with our mix knob, so we're not losing the punch. We're just kind of adding energy to it. So I'm going to show another example of that. Um, should you have a compressor without a mix knob, you can actually do the same thing with two different aux returns. Send your whole drum kit or your instrument or whatever you have to two aux returns with the same input, and don't put anything on one of them and put the compressor on the other. And if it doesn't have a mix knob, it would just be at 100%. So now you kind of treat this as your mix knob. You have your dry signal and your wet signal, so you can kind of blend those. And one benefit of having these two separate aux returns is you can kind of add other plugins to do other things with, as far as EQ, saturation on top of one of them while leaving the other one alone, or compressing one heavily and one differently, and really get some unique sounds with this parallel that you can't get with the mix knob. Although the mix knob does make it really handy having that right on the plugin. Let's hear that with the SSL. And again, the dry. So as far as with drums, parallel compression usually sounds the coolest with a fast release, and the reason is you can see even with the meter, it's letting go really quickly. So after the compression has seen the transient of the drum, it's releasing, and effectively when you release, you're turning the volume up because you're going from heavily compressed to no compression. So what it's doing is it's turning up everything after the transient, so the room sound becomes sustained. uh, just the general sound of what used to be quiet is now loud. So check that out. Should I go later? So like 1.2 seconds. Now that release is really slow, so we're not getting all that room noise pulling it through the microphones. So it's not as exciting. It's definitely a compressed signal and maybe useful. Let's blend that in with the dry. So not quite as exciting as with our fast release. So definitely something to fool with there, is your release time becomes incredibly important with parallel compression.